Okay, here we go. Part 4, walking into my room. And this is the third time I've done this because I keep getting it too long trying to show you all the things. So we're just going to go with video instead of a short. So here next to my island is a movable cart that I can bring over here or over to my working desk for card making, or my journals, or I can keep it at the standing island. The standing island is clear. I have my tag letterbox here, so it's usable. This is my tea that I use for tea dyeing, not for drinking, but laptop space, or journaling space, whatever I need it to be. A stool for sitting if I need to. This cabinet here, let me back up, is pretty much organized. I have everything that I need, and this is my stencil bath, my stencil drying rack, my bookbinding, my older Cricut. This is a quilling basket. Still some organizing to do up above, but we'll get there. Oh, and I didn't show you this rack here is it's two of those stacking bins that I have for my finished cards and stuff, but this is all spare supplies, office stuff. Down here I have my polymer clay and my jewelry making supplies, and some spare knitting and yarn fiber art stuff. So that is that. This is a basket I use for trash because it has a plastic liner, so it makes it nice. So we're going to turn back this way. We have my bookcases that I have, and eventually I will go through each bin by bin and sort and get rid of some more things. But friends, I filled 4 trash bags, 2 boxes, and I got rid of a box of books that are going to be donated. So I'm so proud of myself. So I have a tray up here for with my finished journals, a little rack that has my punches, some recent journals, my typewriter. This is, I'll cover this picture. This is that container that I think I showed you guys a while back that Willie's mom got me, and I just filled it with pretty things. So down here on the floor I have a rolling bin that has designer paper. It's a lot of seasonal papers. This is a little plastic file hanging file box that I have files in for. I'll be using this for for upcoming crop and create. This is a Lazy Susan. I think I'm going to paint it, maybe do dot painting. This is my rack that I use for cards that I get in, which I just emptied it and put most everything away. There's 2 baskets here that have a lot of sewing and miscellaneous stuff that I need to go through, but that's a little task that I can sit on the floor when I don't have to get up too quick and go through them. This is a magazine rack. It's got 9 bins. I have the stuff that I don't really go through but don't want to get rid of that are down in the bottom 3 slots, but this came from my daughter's veterinary office. They were getting rid of it, and she's like, "Mom, I think you might like this." And I do. I love it. So it has all my old Stamping Tim magazines and papercraft magazines and whatnot, and some, little how-to do books. These shelves I left practically the same. This is my little sewing station. I love all the cutesy little fun things on it. That's why I keep these, because it just is inspiring. And some makes that I've done, my little felted sheep, my bottles I painted, my gift from the rack group when I got sick, my mini sewing machine. It works great on paper. And then my sewing machine rack, little rolling stand with some sewing stuff underneath. And I was able to squeeze a little basket in there that's filled with my knitting needles and stuff that I use often. So this dresser here has junk journaling supplies. Then I have these bins that have a lot of fiber. This is my fiber bin. This bin is all sequins and stuff. This is an old artist box. I threw away a lot of the art stuff that was in it. It was old, and I loved the box. So I figured out if I opened it up, I could use it as like storage. So I put a bunch of things, pretty things up here, and little memoirs that I have. This is from my days when I was a cook. And some colored pencils in a nice old tin that I've had for years. It came from my grandmother. So that's that. And then I had the letter tray that's got a bunch of art and pre-cut papers and miscellaneous goodies in that. And I did end up moving that stacking bins, the stacking bins. It was over here next to the desk. I did end up moving that over here to this corner. I wanted to utilize the wall space best where it's a half wall. So that's got all my cards that I still need to go through, and mailing supplies. This is a like cloth bin that is filled with magazines. I did purge over half of that to the trash. I had way too many. It was overstuffed. But I use this for collage and art journaling. This box is empty. I just need to find a home for that. Just didn't make it out. This cart is going to be my junk journaling cart, my bookbinding box that I got from this box I got from my friends when my aunt passed last year, and it makes a great bookbinding box. It holds all my supplies. And it also, these little divided carriers, it fits perfect, the little slots, it fits perfect right over the edge. So I have like an extended, tray. This wire rack I said was kind of flimsy. I can't even remember where I got it, but it's pretty much, I've left it empty. It's just got a couple of empty bins also, but I'll use, and then my light box I will move. But I'm going to use it for painty papers, gel prints, things that need to dry. It'll make, where it's wire, I felt it will make a great drying rack. My file cabinet that I had recently, maybe a month ago or so, Willie moved this up here for me to have, and I've reorganized, and I have all my things like digitals and specialty paper things stacked, in the hanging files in there. And then on top, I tried to do some pretty things. This is the toolbox I think that Karen mentioned. It's filled with my color pencils. I love that too. I'm devastated because I used to take it downstairs to color, and I actually put my recliner down and caught it in the end, so I need to wood glue this side. This is my oil lamp that I got from my friend Lorraine that I am keeping up here in case I lose power. I'll at least have some light to get out. This is a make that I did a long time ago, and I figured where this is notes. This is a Buddha board. I bought one for my daughter years ago. It's a great practice in learning to let go because it has the little well to fill with water and a really neat brush, and you can write on it, and as it dries, it fades away. I have some, excuse me, I have some mugs that I got as gifts over the years from friends and coworkers, and some of them are so pretty that I don't want to get rid of. I love this one. So it just has a few little odd trinkets. I use it as a catch-all, but sometimes they get cracked. You put it in the sink, you drop something in it, so it's no longer, I can't drink from it anymore. So I'll just use it, and it's just pretty. My incense cones, and then I have these two shelves that I put up that have a combination of pretty things and usable things. This one I put an art of watercolor that I painted of Willie's parents' cabin. This was my practice one. I actually made them a really, really big one, like 16 by 20, but I wanted to kind of make a smaller version so I could kind of gauge it up. This was a hat my aunt bought at the fair when she passed, and I got all of her things. I got this. She was a huge butterfly lover. So this was from her, and her favorite color was purple, and that's from my friend Sandy that passed, my best friend in Texas. She made that for me. I got some pretty things like this little box full of goodies from my friend Caroline, my crafty adventures, my Bibles, picture of Will and I when we went on our Zencation last year. These are all paper pads, small paper pads that fit. And my ultra thick embossing powder is up here. This was a can when my daughter went through a phase of loving Hello Kitty, and I love it. Just reminds me of her. But anyway, and some little affirmations that I have scattered around in these little things I picked up, I think at, oh goodness, TJ Maxx, I believe. And then, of course, I have little snowmen scattered here and there because I love snowmen. So these are my little fountain pens with the little cartridges and little handmade paper notebooks. And then we come to the desk that I want to use for my morning motivationals. I have my journal and my planners, some supplies. These are my watercolor pens, my Arteza brush pens. This is a little stationery organizer. I have all my cards that I use that I alter in this. This is a box of index cards. A little bucket that I repurposed. It makes for great trash. And my little mini jug of water that I use when I need spare water for my water brushes or my my watercolor stuff. Some stuff that I need to go through. There's a bench to sit on. This is my scrap basket that I use for my mixed media master boards. An empty serving tray that I can use for projects. This was gifted from my friend Abraham, and it's on, plugged in, and ready to go. I did use it when it was on my island. Now I'll use it over here. This dresser is now filled with rubber stamps. The top 4 drawers are mostly photopolymer clear stamps and some unmounted red rubber, but the bottom 2 are on wooden blocks. My Cricut is plugged in, ready to go. So is my scan and cut. This is all Cricut supplies and my Gypsy. And then I have spare outlets on my strip. I reorganized some stuff on my pegboard and on the shelf that's lines the top of my pegboard. So I do have some empty containers ready to fill if I need them. But I tried to put pretty things up there. That's from my friend Noni. She crocheted me this girl and a pumpkin, which I'll be putting out soon. And I did bring my plants in. The outside weather is just, it's starting to get cool at night, and I just figured it's good timing to bring them in. They can adjust back to the inside. This space here, I'll need to do some resituating once my air conditioner comes out of the window. I do have a little space where it sits on a little crate down there, so I'll move this little shelf and bin at some point. My watercolor cart. Let's move sorry. That's my basket that I take with me. I need to go through it and put my current projects in it because I need to start some Christmas stockings for my grandkids. This ladder shelf has junk journaling supplies that I pull from often and ephemera and whatnot, books that I harvest from. These are my teas that I like. That I hang. They no longer fit, but they're nostalgic to me, so I keep them. And there I am. This is all my ribbons and lace. This got reorganized. I put all my embossing folders here. I have this little twirly thing that I got from my friend Abraham. This is my actual desk that I sit on and create at. So Everything is within arm's reach. This little shelf is cool. It has my little mini cutter, and these little pie boxes are filled with my washi tapes that I like to have handy. And everything is handy there. These are little supplies like my some foam tapes and extra blades for my cutter. This is all 6x6 stencils. Then a bin that I have 2 drawers open that I can use if I find a need for, and my stamping blocks and whatnot are down there. My Copic markers. I have another small thing that I keep right handy on my desk that has my glue, my bone folder, and whatnot. Markers, I said, this is my watercolor palette that I made. That has its own little shelf that slides right in there. Of course, I got my TV. I'm watching Pam. These are card bases and card fronts that I have in here. I've repurposed tissue boxes, and they go double deep. And of course, my water sprayers. I have my full-on sprayer and then my mister. All my goodies from Crop and Create. This is to hold little die cuts and ephemera, and this is a magnetic bowl that holds my little dies. My fan for when my own personal summer hits. I always find this handy. These are all spare ink pads, like extras, and daubers, and my brushes and stuff like that all fit in here. My scoring tray, I left a small space with the shelf to put that. This is my ink spinner that I thrifted at the thrift store, and holds everything, including my little watercolor crayons. The tops are all my alcohol inks, my inks that I use on a regular basis, of my VersaFine Clairs. These are what do you call these? These are like watercolor markers too, but these are crayons, and these are tempera sticks that I got on clearance at Michael's. These are nails. So these cabinets here used to be part of my kitchen cabinets, and they ended up down in the basement when my craft room was down there, and I brought them up. Well, Will brought them up, and I painted them and brought them up here and put them on either end of my table. And then this was also a thrift from the dump. It's an IKEA, there's so many names for those IKEA. I think it's like a Billy bookcase, and I got that for $5 at the dump. So, or the mall across the street, I call it. So anyway, let me see if I turn the light on, if it will make things brighter. There we go. So this had nails because I had all my decorative scissors, because my kids used to craft me back in the day when I was in the basement. So I had nails lining both sides, and I had all my decorative scissors, which now, I'll go slow so I don't make anyone dizzy, are in this little paper basket that I made, and I have them all in there, and they're all labeled. Like, I put little markers so that I can mark and know what the designs are on the edge of the scissors. So, yeah, so this has been a great repurpose. This is my salt light, which you could see better with the light out. It changes colors. It's really cool at nighttime. My Himalayan salt lamp. That has itty bitty little stamps that I got at the mall across the street also. That is some fiber art that I am going to use. It's actually a kit that I got at a craft fair with my daughter last year to make a penny rug that I haven't started yet. This is a card that I was gifted from my friend Echo, but I have lots of stuff in here. This is old Tupperware. I take and reuse it. And this is where all my enamel dots and stuff reside. And some specialty stuff like my acetate and things, and sticker strips of cardstock, and some paper, some watercolor paper and index cards. My cutter, my Dear Prompt journal is handy, and I have some full-on reams of cardstock below that. But I use these hooks now. I have all of my ink little pads in here, and I inked up labels and named them. This this year's watercolor prompt book. Not last year's, because I didn't participate last year. The year before is up there with a piece of watercolor. Those are flowers made of paper that I did on Cricut. I also have a ring with all of my embossing folder designs. And these are the prompt cards that I made when I followed along with Biddy, Penny, and Beth. My tissues, because I always need those, my allergies. This is my basket that I use for all of my finished makes for junk journaling. That is a bin full of thread, DMC floss. These are recycled or upcycled. No, they're recycled. They're recycled food containers. Like you can get little veggie platters with cheese and fruit and some dip, I guess, in the middle that I've kept, and I put all my little bits that I print and make in these. This one is filled with tags, and then this bottom one has stuff that I'm working on, little pockets and whatnot from my gel prints that Tracy and I did a couple weeks ago. But that's sitting on my printer. That's all printer supplies in there, extra copy paper, ink, cartridges that I need to replace. This is my die cutting cart, so I have all my die cutting stuff there. My Empress, another basket. You're welcome, Karen. These are just pouches. I've had this storage system for years, and it seems to work for me. If they start to get too full, I go through and I cut them down and put them in my ATC box or whatever. But that's on a little stool sitting there, so I don't have to reach down as far. There's my stool. And then I have these bins that have miscellaneous stuff that I still need to go through. And then these bins I mentioned before I will use for stuff that's coming in. Like I have cards that I received that I need to hang on my little spinner over there. This is stuff that I'm currently using and stuff that I need to put away. So, and then I have 2 bins of cards that I need to sort through. That's all fingernail polish because I did some marbling of buttons, so that needs to go back downstairs. An old Rand McNally atlas that I use for junk journaling. And that's it. That is it, folks. So I kind of, I'm kind of happy, actually. And you can see my Buddha board, see it disappeared. So that's it. Oh, and this is art that I hung up. I had it hanging on this wall once before, and I moved it over my desk that's behind me, but I wanted to better utilize that space, so I hung this up here so it's out of the way. This is my paper lantern light. That's the light that's over my island, and this is my OT light that I can turn on for brighter light. So that's up there. Don't look too closely, Diane. There's gnomes on either end. So, and then over my desk, I had utilized, this was a piece of art I made years and years and years ago doing some quilling that I had in my kitchen for the longest time, and since then redone my kitchen, so I don't have it there. And then these are my birds that I love. I painted these with Beth Schuler on her live. Well, I followed along with one that she had done on her live, and then I did another one. And he was kind of frumpy looking, so I thought I'd do one that was doing a happy dance. And my clock and my calendar from my friend Jim. So that's over my desk. But I'm super happy with how everything has turned out. I got rid of lots and lots of things. I did leave this shelf of books. There was a shelf that went all the way around because, as you can see, this shelf is coming down too. But I have shelves all along the ceiling. That was from when this was my daughter's room. She was a big reader, and she had bookcases, but she also had books all along the top of her room. So that's always fun. But yeah, I'm super happy with how everything turned out, and I can't wait to start creating. And I want to just say a big thank you to everyone that followed the video. progress, you know, of the reset. And right now I'm tired, but I do think that I will go through and do possibly some organization videos on, you know, how I'm moving stuff around, or actually go through each thing and show. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, my brain is saying no thank you because it's tired. But I love it. I love that I can move around. I have plenty of room for that. I even have room for friends because I have my spare stools, and my island has a leaf that comes up. I can't remember if I said that this is, that's a basket filled with Christmas stamps. So, but anyway, yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you for all your support, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.